So, just about to make a start. Good evening or good day, depending on when you're joining on demand. But for those of you on this live practice today, hello and welcome. Um, just make sure you've got everything around you that you need. Obviously, your mat that you're working on, bolster if you need one, or rolled up big bath towel, some cushions. Got a couple of blocks here with me today, a couple of bricks. You will also need a strap. So you can improvise with that with a tie or a dressing gown belt, something like that. Stretchy bands are okay, but they're not, so they don't support you quite so much. So have a strap to hand towards the end as well. And then anything else that you need. Remember, the props are key in your yin practice. So just a reminder of your yin essentials. We'll be working at slowly stretching into the body. A lot of the poses in this evening's practice are being held for 4 minutes with the counter pose at the end of each one. So you've got plenty of time to really relax and sink into the pose. And don't try and stress, don't try and strain. Use your props to help you get there. It's a real realization for me last week, just putting a prop underneath my forehead to support my head, which I thought was fine, and I was just able to go into it a little bit more deeply. So do take that opportunity to just simply give in to the pose and not try and have any stress in your body. We will still be reminding ourselves of red, amber, and green. So red is when there's pain. Certainly don't want to be there. But there is an edge between amber and green. You can get as close to that edge as you want to. Ideally having sensations in the amber zone. If you're not feeling anything at all, you'll be in your green zone. And that's more of a restorative yin. So just depending on where you want to be this evening and during this practice, whether you want more restorative or you want to just stretch a little deeper into your muscles. So just remember to sink as much as you're able to. So last week we started looking at the kidney and the bladder meridians because these are related to water, and water is the element of winter. And we're coming towards the end of winter. We'll be moving into spring in the next couple of weeks. So I thought we'd just take that meridian and that idea of water, kidney and bladder a little bit more deep tonight. So that's really the theme. And we'll be stimulating those meridians as we go through. And in fact, we're going to start off and find the meridians in our ankles and just apply a little bit of acupressure just while we do some breathing, just to settle ourselves into the practice. So if you can, bring your feet out in front. You might want to block straight away, just underneath your knees to support. And the kidney and bladder meridians will be found throughout the body, but one accessible point for you is just to place your thumbs on the inside of your ankle bones. So find the inside of your ankle bones. And then also just notice, you can just track your thumbs across to your Achilles tendon. So that's the springy tendon at the back of your ankle. And then if you choose a spot halfway between the ankle bone and the tendons. And then what I'd like you to do is just come up by probably about an inch on both sides. So find the ankle bone, the tendon in the middle, and then slide your thumbs up by about an inch. And then just move the thumbs back towards the Achilles tendon, but not actually pushing on it. So those are the kidney and bladder meridians, the accessible points. And just gently apply some pressure with your thumbs. Nothing should hurt, but you might get some sensations. And then close your eyes and just feel into these points. Just allow your breath to happen at the moment. I'll talk about the yin breath just while we apply this pressure. And we're just going to apply pressure here for about a minute. If anything gets uncomfortable, then you just ease off with the pressure. We'll keep the hands over the area, bringing awareness to this part of our body. With your knees supported, there should be no tension in the top of your legs, your hip flexors. Just sitting as comfortably as you can. And if it feels okay, you can then start to apply a little bit more pressure. But again, just be aware. If you need to pull away, then do so. About another 30 seconds with some, if you can, a little bit more intense pushing in with your thumbs or your fingers. And release the pressure on these acupressure points. Just ease off slowly. You can take any props away if you want to, and come back to your comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like. And now bring your awareness to your breath. You might still have some sensations on your ankles. You may not. And both are fine. So focusing now in on your breath. Notice the in-breath as it comes in through your nose, nice cool air. And breathing out through your nose as well, as long as you don't have any congestion. If you do, then a small gap through your lips to breathe out and in through. And over the last couple of weeks, we've talked about the Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath. It's a deeply calming breath where you just slightly constrict the back of your throat. And you might be aware of some sound as you breathe in and as you breathe out, which sound a little bit like waves breaking on the seashore. I'm going to take a couple of minutes now, just focusing in on your ocean breath, if you can hear it. And if you can't, just focus in on the slightly longer exhalation, which is your yin breath, a breath in and a longer breath out. Just helps to calm your body and to calm your mind. Focus just on you and on your breath. You have awareness of anything else happening within your practice space. Just trying to leave that behind as we prepare your body and your mind for the rest of the practice. Taking the next minute now without me speaking, with you focusing in just on your in-breath and your out-breath. We've got one more in-breath and one more out-breath. And then let your awareness fade away from your breath. Just noticing right now how you feel in your body as you're sitting here. We have a very gentle opening to the practice this evening. We're going to take child's pose, which is an inward-looking pose to open up through your back. Again, it's a very winter pose. Lots of different variations, so gently flutter your eyelids open and then come to a kneeling position. Move your blocks, bricks out of the way and your options If you suffer with anything on your knees and it's not comfortable, then place a block or a cushion behind your knees. You can have your bolster in front of you for a really relaxed child's pose. Just pulling the bolster between your knees, so wide legs child's pose, and your head to one side. Or you can come into any other variation of child's pose. Knees can be together, they can be apart, forehead down. Your arms can be out in front, or you can simply stack your fists in front of you, particularly if you have high or low blood pressure, just to relax into that position. So find the comfortable position for you for child's pose. And when you're there, sinking down into it, see if you can have some sensations or notice sensations through your back or through your shoulders. Giving yourself enough space to breathe, but also noticing that most of your breathing now is being done into the back half of your body. And so noticing movement in your ribs, down the side of your spine. Is everything else a little cramped up? If it is too cramped, take the wide leg child's pose. So if you've got space to actually feel your belly move as well. So as we hold this position, bring your awareness to the length of your spine. The vertebrae just opening, connective tissue around your spine is stretching. You're stretching the whole of the back line of your body. And your kidneys in particular lie around your waist. And so they are being, again, opened up. The meridians are being exposed. Bring your awareness to your breath. You can carry on practicing Ujjayi breath, the ocean breath, if that comes naturally to you. And if not, just simply notice an in-breath and a longer exhalation as you breathe out, sinking deeper. While you're here, just scanning your body for any areas where you might still be holding tension. And just in silence now, relaxing into the last minute of child's pose. And you take a deep breath in now, notice your back ribs just rising. And as you breathe out, bring your hands underneath your shoulders and just push yourself back up to a kneeling sit position. Your counter pose for child's pose is to take your hands slightly behind you, stretching the front of your chest. Your eyes, if they're open, look directly in front of you, so your chin is tucked. So just squeezing into your shoulder blades across the top of your chest, opening up. That's uncomfortable in the kneeling sit, and just sit down on a block or on your mat. Deep breath in. As you breathe out, release your arms from behind you, come upright, and we're going to take butterfly as our next pose. So you might want to sit on a block or a book, That's where we started off, sitting down comfortably. And your legs can either be in a big diamond shape, soles of your feet together. You can bring your feet in really close to your groin and support your legs with blocks and bricks if you want to. Or they can be really stretched out. So wherever is most appropriate for you, depending on how your hips feel. It is nice, however, just to put bricks underneath the side of your legs so that no tension is being held. You may also want a block in front of you for your head. This was my breakthrough moments last week about supporting my head. So sitting tall, feeling your spine lengthen. And then when you're ready, just leaning forward from your hips. Your back is straight to start with. Just starting to feel some tension or some stress in your hips. You can have your elbows gently on the inside of your thighs. Again, being aware of any sensations around your hips. And when you get used to this angle, you can stay here. Or you can then lean forward further, maybe place your head on your brick. And take your feet further away or bring them closer in. So again, an inward-looking pose in butterfly. Sensations are usually felt in your lower back and in your hips. But just notice where you're feeling gentle, tugging sensation in your body. If your hips are particularly flexible, you may want to come a little bit lower, but simply don't push it. Just allow your body to sink where it's appropriate into a slightly deeper pose. The supporting of the head, though, is key. As you go, carry on through the pose. You need to make adjustments, make changes, then do so. So again, we're stretching down your back. You can think back to how it felt when you were pressing on the inside of your ankles and your legs. And keep breathing. So we're going to be here for another minute. Just allowing your body, the top half of your body to be heavy and to sink and to lower and be supported. Noticing whether the sensations are easing off, or whether you're still in your amber zone with some sensations going on. They don't have to be intense. Keeping your awareness on your breath just for the last 15 seconds. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, slowly bring yourself out of butterfly. Take your feet wide, and we'll just take it into windscreen wipers from side to side. Just to release off any tension that created in your hips. Just come off my block. Just going gently from side to side, working into your hip joints. Just take one more to each side. And then bring everything back to center. If you're used to sitting on a block, bring your block back underneath you. You can sit on right the edge of it. keeping your legs wide. So we're going to take half straddle. So both legs start out wide, then bend your left leg, place the sole of your foot on the inside of your thigh. If you need something underneath your right thigh, place it under your thigh, not underneath your knee, and again sit tall. From here, take a slight sideways look towards your right leg. You should be pulling back gently on your left knee with your eyes towards your right toes. Your right hand can come to the outside of your right thigh. And this may be where you want to stay. But there's always the option then to lean forward, bring both hands either side of your right leg until you feel gentle pulling up the back of your right leg. Maybe also into the outside quadrant, the lower quarter of your back on the left. Again, then you can come down as you wish. You can use your bolster on the inside of your right leg and lean forward onto that. You can again place a brick or a book on the inside of your right knee and just have your forehead coming down onto that. Or have two stacked on top of each other. So this pose is slightly more intense. Tense on the back of your right leg, lower back. And the third of our inward looking poses. Again, coming back to the theme of winter. It's about quiet poses. It's about looking inwards. This is the time for rest and hibernation, allowing your body to settle, renew itself before the growth of spring. We've got another minute here. Nice long time just to stay within your orange zone, your amber zone. Noticing whether sensations are easing slightly or whether they're still at the same level. If at the same level, don't take it any deeper or ease back slightly if there's any discomfort. And bring your awareness to your breath. Breathing in through your nose and the longer yin exhalation through your nose. We just want to bring about your parasympathetic nervous system, which I always mention in class. Your rest and digest, allowing your body to stretch under cold stress rather than having to fight for stress and stretch. Take a deep breath in. Notice sensations down the right side, left side of your back. And as you breathe out, just push yourself back up slowly. We're not going to counterpose straight away. We're going to take it straight over to the other side. So lift your left knee up with your hand. Take your left leg out to the side. And then carefully bend your right leg in. Place the sole of your right foot on the inside of your left leg. And again, you might need props. It might be the same as the other side. It might be completely different. So just see how you feel. Sitting up tall to start with, just pushing gently with your right hand on the inside of your right knee. That helps to straighten your back. And then a slight turn towards the left. Only slight. Just holding there for a few moments. And sitting tall while you do it. Again, as I said on side one, this might be enough. You might feel the stretch on the inside now of your leg, the back of your leg. If you're happy, you can then take your hands to either side of your left leg and slowly come down. Just the point of mild tension, whether it's on the back of your left leg, the inside of your left leg, but now the focus has also gone to the bottom lower part of your right back, right side of your back. And just be aware, notice which side you may be a little bit tighter on. And say, I'm encouraging just to sink slowly if it's appropriate. No pushing into any of these poses, using your props to guide you. If you use the props to support your body and you're not holding tension, your body will relax more and actually the stretch will eventually become deeper. Keep your awareness on your breath. There's a little bit more space for you to breathe into the front of your chest and your belly in this position, unless you really have draped yourself all the way forward. But the focus is still on breathing into the back part of your rib cage, into the back of your lungs. So as you breathe in, notice that movement. We've got another minute here in half straddle. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, again, very slowly and carefully, walk your hands back in towards you, remove the props from around you. Sit upright, just lift your right leg up, bring the right foot back down to the mat and bend your left leg. Take it into windscreen wipers for our counter pose again. So just going from side to side, your movement back into your hips. The poses this evening are building in intensity. So we started off with very nice gentle child's pose. Butterfly was gentle. This might have just stressed a little bit more into your hips, but opened up into the hips. So we're going to now take it into pigeon. Going to be about 4 minutes on each side with pigeon. So come all the way back to center. Turn lengthways on your mat. Have your right foot in front. Now, ideally, you want your shin parallel to the end of the mat. There's no way my shin does that. So I'm going to pull my heel back a little bit and take my left leg out behind. So I'm almost sitting on my right heel. Use a block or a brick or a book underneath your right buttock so that you're not twisting your spine out of alignment. So the leg is long behind, hands are down on the mat for support. And then you can play with your right lower leg to see whether you can bring it forward a little bit, but don't stress the knee, don't be uncomfortable there. And you have your bolster in front of you if you wish to lie over. You can stay upright in pigeon, which is a little bit more yang. If you feel like it, come down onto your forearms. Deeper sensations possibly now into your right hip, your right glutes, And if you do wish to take it all the way down, okay, use a block or a brick or your bolster. Place your forehead down, and your arms can go right out in front if you sink all the way down. So anywhere from sinking all the way down to the floor to having been up on your hands with your back in mild extension is fine. There's no right or wrong in pigeon. You need to find a position that is comfortable for you. Also maybe noticing sensations down the front of your left leg. If your left knee is uncomfortable, just place a small cushion underneath your left thigh so the knee is no longer pressured. And just rest here, noticing the sensations that this creates. Maybe 2 minutes here. Moving into halfway into the practice, just noticing now whether you're finding it easier just to focus in on your breath, in on your space and your body, tuning into the sensations that these yin poses create. Just be careful in pigeon and get to very close to your edge, particularly in the right, so you've got your right leg forward, the right hip. And back to your breath. Try and make sure that you stay in your amber zone. Don't go over the edge. And if you're getting close, just ease back a little bit. Another 30 seconds here on this side. Breath in. And as you breathe out, very carefully push yourself back up. Just come back lengthways, sideways on your mat. We're just going to transfer straight over to the other side. So facing the other way on your mat. Don't worry if you're pointing away from your camera or anything like that, your machine. On your left leg in front, just place your block or your brick underneath your left buttock. And then take your right leg out behind. So starting off with your arms straight, chin is tucked. Just noticing how that feels. The sensations in your body, in the front of your right leg, maybe deep into your left buttock. Your front knee is uncomfortable, just keep your foot flexed. And then again, we did it on side one, so just seeing how it feels to come down a little bit lower. And what your range of movement is within your comfort zone on this side. Breath is really useful here when the pose does get a little bit intense. It's when the breath comes into its own. A long, slow exhalation, bringing your awareness to the area of your body that's stressed. Seeing if it eases off a little bit over the length of the hold. About another minute and a half here in pigeon on side 2. Keep staying with your breath for the last about 40 seconds left. Noticing how this side feels in comparison to side 1. Coming into your last 15 seconds. Deep breath in. And as you breathe out, just carefully push yourself back up, coming onto 4-point kneeling and preparing for our counter pose here, which is a wide-legged child's pose. So just opening into the hips, sinking down. And again, there might be some sensations in your hips as you come down into wide-legged child's pose, but breathe into this for the next minute. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, push yourself back up. One of my favourites, it's not everyone's, toe stretch. So coming into your 4-point kneeling and just tuck your toes under. So this may be where you want to stay, just tucking your toes and feeling the stretch. Then you can play with just walking your hands back in so your bottom comes down towards your heels. And again, that's maybe where you want to stay because we're ticking into the 3 minutes, but it's going to be 3 minutes. If you do feel you want a deeper stretch, just bring your body upright. So your body weight is now down through your heels and down into your toes, stretching the bottom of your feet. Closing your eyes, your hands are relaxed on your lap. You can always spread your toes out if you feel they're a little bit stuck. Now this toe stretch pose can become very intense. So again, bring your awareness to your breath. What we're doing here is just stretching the bottom of your feet, the fascia at the bottom of your feet. Remember, this might push towards your edge. And if it does, take the lean forward, take your body weight back into your hands. Otherwise, focusing on your breath. Another minute here. And again, now as we're going through the practice and your breath has you've become more used to the breath. Maybe your breath is deeper on the in-breath and it's longer on the out-breath. That breath will really help to take you through this pose. Deep breath in. And as you breathe out, bring yourself back to 4-point kneeling. Very carefully unflex your toes and just give them a little bit of a pat out. Just bring some life back into the front of your feet. And we're going to take it straight into the ankle stretch. And again, 4-point kneeling with your feet flat now might be enough for you. If you feel like taking it into the ankle stretch, sit back onto your heels. And now stretching into the front of your ankles, front of your feet. If you're not too keen on this, you can come into a seated position and just sit balanced on your sit bone with your hands on the front of your feet, just stretching, gently pointing into your feet. It is cold, so if there's any cramp, just be aware. Otherwise, if you're sitting back on your heels, over time, as the stretch develops, lean back and then just gently lift your knees off the mat. Have your hands behind you, anywhere for support. We're stretching now deeply into the front of your ankles, the front of your legs. You can always put a block or brick underneath your knees if you need that bit of support. If it's sitting on the balance is uncomfortable. And you can sit more upright. If you feel balanced, then take that away. And then we've got another 1.5 minutes here in your ankle stretch. Nice breathing, deep breathing. Just being aware of the sensations that are being created in your feet right now and your ankles. Into your last 30 seconds of your ankle stretch. Deep breath in. And as you breathe out, come back onto your mat. Allow your bottom just to slip to one side and bring your legs out in front. So there's no counter pose to that. We've done the 2 poses. You're going to come down onto your back. Make sure you have your strap with you for the second of the 2 poses, but the first one's happy baby. So just roll yourself back down onto your mat and hug your knees in towards you. From here, your knees go slightly wide. Your feet point up towards the ceiling and just hold on to your ankles. Your arms can be, at the moment, can be on the outside of your legs. See how that feels. And if you wish to, you can flex your feet and then hold onto the bottom of your feet, onto your big toes, or have your fingers just into the arches of your feet. Your upper arms can push gently onto the inside of your knees. Anywhere between that. So anywhere between hugging your knees in with your feet pointing towards the ceiling, or having your legs just pulled apart slightly, opening into your hips. Again, this pose can be quite intense on the hip joints. Just see how you go with that, watching your edge. And literally letting your hips sink, the legs sink down into your hips. In the full happy baby, your arms are applying pressure and gravity is working onto the bottom of your feet and pulling your legs down. So that's the bit to remove if your edge is crossed. Otherwise, bring your awareness to your breathing. Definitely more space to breathe in this pose. So notice the rise and fall of your chest. And again, controlling your out breath. Breathing. We have another minute here in Happy Baby. Just notice if you're holding stress in your hips. So trying to hold the pose. See if you can allow your hands to do the supporting, your arms to do the supporting. Hips not to hold the tension. Breath in. As you breathe out, release your hold, bring your knees gently back together again, lower one foot down onto the mat and the other. Counter pose here is Shavasana. It's not our full Shavasana, so just lying flat on the mat. Focusing on deep breathing. Trying to allow your entire body to become as relaxed as it possibly can be. Take breath in. And as you breathe out, walk your feet in towards you and reach for your strap. And if you don't have a strap, but you've got a chair around, you can literally just simply place your legs onto the chair or your sofa with your knees at 90 degrees. It's an inverted pose. But if you've got a strap, bring your knees in towards you, place the strap underneath the soles of your feet, and you have your strap between your hands. The legs are up high. And you're using your strap, so there's a bit of yang because you're holding onto your strap. And just letting your legs be high. This is the chance for your body to start to come down after the more intense poses today. As the nourishment of the whole of your torso, your body. Downward movement of the blood from your legs. Taking the stress out of your leg muscles. Again, no tension in your legs or your hips, so the strap is supporting them. You can equally do this position, suppose up against a wall. If you are up against a wall, again, use a strap or tie something around your thighs so there's no tension in your hips, holding your legs up the wall. You can have a sensation, there won't be, you'll probably be in your green zone for most of this. Have the feeling in your body, your organs being nourished, your brain being nourished. Your last pose, it's your last chance to really focus in on your breath. Inhalation and then a deep, long exhalation, keeping the focus on your body, your reaction to the breath. Noticing how your physical body feels and how you also feel deep inside. I'm going to be hanging around here for another minute. Deep breath in. And as you breathe out, bend your knees in towards you and take your strap away. Place one foot down, place the other foot down, and just rub your hands together into your wrists because there was some yang work going on there, just holding your strap. And then relax. Very carefully look around for any props you need for Shavasana. Whether you need a bolster under your knees for support, whether you need a block underneath your head, and whether you want a blanket, jumper on to keep yourself warm while we take Shavasana. So just take those few moments now to make yourself as comfortable as you possibly can, so there's no tension in any part of your body. And get to that point, closing your eyes, and making any final adjustments. Scan through your body, from the back of your head, down through your neck. Maybe just try opening your mouth slightly. If you can release some tension in your jaw, that in turn may help tension that you're holding in your neck and your shoulders. Feel your shoulders become heavy. Notice the length of your arms, your elbows and your wrists can relax. Your body is heavy. Just noticing your pelvis on your mat and how you've chosen to support it. Backs of your legs. Allow your knees to be heavy and your ankles. And then committing to the quietness of your mind and the stillness of your body for Shavasana. As always, this is your own practice. You're practicing with the confines of your own space. And if you wish to stay in Shavasana for longer, then please do. Otherwise, the practice is due to close. Just start to bring your awareness back to your breath, just noticing a couple of deep inhalations and exhalations. Bring oxygen back into your body to prepare your body for movement. And slowly start to stretch, whether that's through your fingers, your hands, your arms. You need your knees into your chest, or whether you want to just take a full body stretch. And slowly walk your feet up the mat. Turn onto either side. And then in your own time, push yourself back up to a seated position. You can stay with your eyes closed, staying centered, staying grounded. And bring your hands together, palms just slightly apart, but your fingertips, your thumbs, and the heel of your hands making light contact in the gesture of Anjali Mudra. Just saying thank you to yourself for making time for self-care and choosing Yin Yoga today to assist you in that. Close the practice with Om, the unifying sound. Please feel free to join in if you wish to, or simply listen. So take a breath in and breathe out. Breathing in for Om. Om. Namaste. Thank you very much for joining today. Have a lovely rest of your evening, rest of your day, and I will see you again soon. Thank you.